Well, hello everyone. It's me, it's Warren. I'm back again. Today I've got my preview for the European Championships football tournament, Group D. That group contains Croatia, Scotland, Czech Republic and England. So we're going to be looking at the teams and seeing what we can find out about them. So I hope you enjoy this, and yeah, please remember, if you haven't done it already, to subscribe to my channel. Please put a like on the video, and please remember to pass it on to anyone who you think might be interested. That'd be absolutely superb. Let's try and get the amount of people who are watching my videos up and get it more widely distributed. So that's one way that you can help me to do that. So that would be fantastic. Anyway, so without further ado, let's get on with it. This is my preview of Group D of the European Championships Euro 2020. So this group contains Croatia, Scotland, the Czech Republic and England. Now let's start by looking at Croatia. Now Croatia, its an association was originally formed in 1912 and is based in the capital city of Zagreb. Beautiful city, by the way. If you ever get a chance to go there and check it out, do so. I can highly recommend it. The organisation is a member of both FIFA and UEFA, and the team was recognised by both FIFA and UEFA following the dissolution of Yugoslavia. Croatia has qualified for 5 FIFA World Cups, which has been every one since 1998, except for the 2010 World Cup. They played in the UEFA European Championship for the first time in 1996, and it has since qualified for every finals tournament in the European Championship since then, except for the Euro 2000. Their best World Cup result to date was when they finished as runners-up to France in the last World Cup, and their best performance in the Euros came in 1996 and 2008 when they reached the quarterfinals. Now, their FIFA ranking is 14th, and their UEFA ranking is 11th. Now let's have a look and see how they qualified for Euro 2020. So they were in a qualifying group with Wales, Slovakia and Hungary and Azerbaijan. In their qualifying matches, they defeated Wales 2-1 at home and drew with them 1-1 away. They defeated Slovakia 3-1 at home and 4-0 away. They defeated Hungary 3-0 at home and lost 2-1 away, and then defeated Azerbaijan 2-1 at home and drew 1-1 away. So if we look at their combined record in European Championship finals and World Cup finals, we can see that they played 38 games, won 16, drawn 10 and lost 12. They've scored 54 goals and conceded 45 and accumulated 58 points. Now, if you look at their record in comparison with the other 24 countries who have qualified for this year's Euros, we can see that they historically are the 12th best team of the 24 finalists this summer. And let's now have a look and see what their form has been like in the run-up to this tournament. So in the run-up to this tournament this summer, they lost 1-0. They were lost by 1-0 against Slovenia. They defeated Cyprus by 1 goal-0. Both of those games were World Cup qualifying matches. They defeated Malta by 3-0, again in a World Cup qualifying match. They drew 1-1 with Armenia in a friendly game and lost by 1-0 against Belgium, again in a friendly match. So, moving on, let's find out about their manager. Now, their manager is a chap by the name of Zlatko Dalic. On the 7th of October 2017, he was appointed as the head coach of the Croatian national football team. And since being appointed, his record as manager is played 43, won 22, drawn 7, and lost 14, with a win percentage of 51.16%. Probably so far, the highlight of his career as manager of Croatia was leading to the World Cup final in 2018, when unfortunately they lost by 4-2 to France. Now, players to watch out for from them in this tournament are obviously Luka Modric, who's the Real Madrid playmaker. He made his international debut for Croatia against Argentina in March 2006, and he scored his first international goal in a friendly game against Italy. Modric has been the central figure in Croatia's second golden generation, participating in every major tournament Croatia has qualified for, including the UEFA European Championships in 2008, 2012 and 2016, as well as the FIFA World Cups in 2006, 2014 and 2018. At Euro 2008, he was selected for the team of the tournament, becoming only the second Croatian to ever achieve this honour. And following group stage eliminations in his first 2 World Cups, Modric has led to Croatia to the 2018 World Cup final, and he received the Golden Ball Award for the best player of the tournament in the last World Cup. In March 2021, he went on to become the country's most capped player in history, and furthermore, he has been named Croatian Footballer of the Year a record 9 times between 2007 and 2020. Now, the other player to look out for this summer is Chelsea midfielder Mateo Kovacic. He made his debut for the senior Croatian national team in a qualification match against Serbia on the 22nd of March 2013, playing as a central midfielder alongside Luka Modric. He has gone on to make 67 appearances for Croatia and score 3 goals. So let's look now and see when they're going to be playing their Group D opponents. So their first game will be against England at Wembley Stadium on the 13th of June. Their second game will be at Hampden Park in Glasgow on the 18th of June against the Czech Republic. And then finally they play Scotland on the 22nd of June, again at Hampden Park. Now, if they manage to qualify out of this group, then and they qualify as group winners, they will face the second place team in Group F at Wembley Stadium. And then if they finish second in Group D, they will face the country that finishes second in Group E in Copenhagen at the Parken Stadium. But if they finish third in their qualifying group, they could face either the winners of Group B, Group C or Group E, depending on their record, finishing third in their first round qualifying group as it compares to the other teams that finished third in their qualifying groups. And those games could be played at either Bilbao at the San Mamés Stadium, Hampden Park in Glasgow, or the Puskas Arena in Budapest. So moving on, let's look at the next team. The next country up is the Czech Republic. Now, following the dissolution of the Czechoslovakia, the first international competition of the Czech Republic was the UEFA Euro 1996, when they finished as runners-up to Germany, and they have taken part in every European Championship since. Following the separation, they have featured in one FIFA World Cup, which was the 2006 tournament. Now, let's look and see how they qualified for Euro 2020. They were in a qualification group where they were in qualifying Group A alongside England, Kosovo, Bulgaria and Montenegro. In that group, they defeated England by 2-1, and they lost by 5-0 away. They defeated Kosovo 2-1 at home, but lost 2-1 away. They defeated Bulgaria 2-1 at home and lost 1-0 away. And then they defeated Montenegro 3-0 at home and won 3-0 away. So it looks like they're they look quite good at home, but their away form has been quite poor, really, by the looks of that. So let's see how they get on this summer. Now, their combined World Cup and European Championship finals history. As we can see, they've played 27 times in World Cup finals and European Championship finals matches. Of those matches, they've won 11 times, drawn 3 and lost 13. They've scored 33 goals and conceded 37 and managed to get 36 points. Now, that record shows that historically, when compared with other finalists from this year's tournament, they are the 16th best team of the 24 sides who have qualified for this summer's tournament. Now, their UEFA ranking is 12th and their FIFA ranking is 16th. Now, the Czech Republic's most recent matches, let's look at their current form and see how they've been doing. So the current form, they have defeated 6-2. They've defeated Estonia 6-2. They drew 1-1 with Belgium. They lost 1-0 to Wales, lost 4-0 to Italy, and defeated Albania by 3-1. So their coach is a chap by the name of Jaroslav Silihavy. Now, on the 18th of September 2018, he became manager of the Czech Republic national team. And since being appointed, his record is that he's played 27, won 15, drawn 1, lost 11, his team has scored 41 goals and they've conceded 35, and he's got a win percentage of 55.56. Now, if we move on and look at 2 players to look out for this summer, both of them are West Ham United player. The first one I want to talk about is Tomáš Souček. Tomáš Souček is a defensive midfielder, like I say, who currently plays with West Ham United in the English Premier League. He made his senior debut for the Czech Republic national team on the 15th of November 2016 in a friendly match against Denmark. And then he went on to make his competitive debut on the 10th of June 2017 in Czech Republic's 1-1 away draw against Norway in a 2018 World Cup qualifier. Now, on the 24th of March 2021, he scored a hat-trick in his 6-2 World Cup demolition qualifying win against Estonia. And so far, he has made 35 appearances for his country and scored 7 goals. Now, his teammate of West Ham, Vladimir Koufal, is a right back. And like I say, he also plays for West Ham United in the EPL. He made his debut for the Czech Republic national team on the 11th of November 2017 in a friendly against Qatar, and he's gone on to make 16 appearances for the Czech Republic national team, scored one goal, which was against Slovakia in a UEFA Nations League match on the 4th of September 2020. So let's move on now and look at their Group D fixtures. So they start off with a game against Scotland on the 14th of June at Hampden Park. They next play Croatia on the 18th of June, again at Hampden Park. And then they finish their Group D fixtures with a game against England, again, and that one will be played at Wembley Stadium in London. So if they manage to get out of their group as group winners, excuse me, they will play the second place side in Group F at Wembley Stadium. If they finish second in Group D, they will finish the country that finishes second in Group E in Copenhagen at the Parken Stadium. And then if they finish third in their qualifying group, they could face the winners of either Group B, Group C or Group E, depending on their record when finishing third in their first round qualifying group matches, compared with other countries who finished third in their first round qualifying matches. And that game could take place at either Bilbao's San Mamés Stadium, Hampden Park in Glasgow, or the Puskás Arena in Budapest. So that's the Czech Republic. So moving on, let's look at England now. Now, the England national team, also known as the Three Lions, is one of 8 nations to have won the World Cup, and England is the joint oldest national team in the world football. It played in the world's first international football match in 1872 against Scotland, and England has qualified for the World Cup on 15 occasions. It won the 1966 World Cup when it also hosted the finals, and finished 4th in both the 1990 and 2018 World Cups. England has never won the UEFA European Championships, with their best performance being a 3rd place finish in 1968 and 1996, a tournament which they hosted. Now, let's look at how they qualified for Euro 2020. So they qualified for Euro 2020 in qualifying Group A with the Czech Republic, Kosovo, Bulgaria and Montenegro. And in their qualifying games, they won 5-0 at home against the Czech Republic and lost 2-1 away. They defeated Kosovo 5-3 at home and lost 4-0, won 4-0 away. They defeated Bulgaria 4-0 at home and 6-0 away. And they've defeated Montenegro 7-0 at home and 5-1 away. So that's their qualification. Now, if we look at the joint record of England in European Championship finals and World Cup finals matches, they played 100 games, they've won 39, drawn 31 and lost 30. They've scored 123 goals and conceded 100, and they managed to accumulate 148 points. Excuse me. Now, if we look at that in comparison to the other 24 countries that have managed to, that have qualified for this year's Euros, we can see that they historically are the equal 4th best side of the 24 teams who have qualified for the Euros this summer. And hold on just a second. Their UEFA ranking is 6th and their FIFA ranking is 4th currently. Now let's look at their current form leading up to this tournament this summer. Now, their current form, they've defeated San Marino 5-0 in a World Cup qualifier. They defeated Albania 2-0 in a World Cup qualifier. And they defeated Poland by 2-1, again in the World Cup qualifying match. They defeated Austria 1-0 in an international friendly and defeated Romania finally in an international friendly match. Now, let's find out about the coach and some of their players. So the coach is Gareth Southgate, former Aston Villa and player, and I think he also managed Middlesbrough as well. He became the England national team manager in 2016 after his predecessor was sacked after a sting involving a national newspaper, where he was set up to accept a bung. In his first tournament, though, as England manager, which was the 2018 FIFA World Cup, Southgate became only the second manager in English football history after Bobby Robson to reach a World Cup semi-final on foreign soil with the England team. And this won him the BBC Sports Personality of the Year award. And to be honest, I think he should have won an award for those gnashes. Jesus, look at those teeth. He's got a fair old pair of gnashes on him, hasn't he? Anyway, so let's look at some of their key players. So the players that I think might stand out for them this summer, obviously Harry Kane, who's currently England's captain. He made his international debut at Wembley Stadium in March 2015, replacing Wayne Rooney in the second half against Lithuania. And he scored just 8 seconds later with a header from a Raheem Sterling cross. On the 30th of March 2015, the day before the Italy match, the then England manager Roy Hodgson announced that Kane would start alongside Wayne Rooney, and he played the full 90 minutes of a 1-1 draw at the Juventus Stadium. And he has so far made 54 appearances, scored 34 international goals in his international career. Another player who may well star, I believe, is youngster Phil Foden. He has made his international debut against Iceland on the 5th September 2020 in a 1-0 away victory in the UEFA Nations League tournament. He plays his club football for Manchester City as a midfield player, and he was described by his club manager, Pep Guardiola, as being the most talented player that he'd ever worked with. Now, when you consider some of the players that Pep Guardiola has worked with, that's quite some endorsement, really, I believe. So far in his international career, he has made 6 appearances and scored 2 goals. And finally, the last player I want to talk about for England is Jack Grealish. He plays his club football for Aston Villa in the English Premier League as a winger or attacking midfielder, and he's been noted for his ability to run and dribble past defenders. Brian Jones, the Aston Villa former academy director, liked his playing style to that of Nottingham Forest legend John Robertson, citing his ability to ghost past people. And on the 8th September 2020, he made his senior debut as a 76th minute substitute in a 0-0 draw against Denmark in their UEFA Nations League clash. So far in his international career, he has made 7 appearances for the full England team, but he's yet to score a goal. So let's look at when they're going to be playing their Group D opponents. So they open up with a game against Croatia at Wembley Stadium on the 13th of June. Their next opponents will be Scotland on the 18th of June at Wembley Stadium. And then finally, they finish their Group D fixtures on the 22nd of June with a game at Wembley Stadium against the Czech Republic. So if England managed to qualify out of their group as group winners, they will face the second place team in Group F at Wembley Stadium. If they finish second in Group D, they will face the country that finishes second in Group E in Copenhagen at the Parken Stadium. And if they finish third in their qualifying group, they could face either the winners of Group B, Group C, or Group E, depending on their record when finishing third in the first round qualifying group compared to the other countries who finished third in their first round qualifying groups, which could take place either in Bilbao at the San Mamés Stadium, Hampden Park in Glasgow, or the Puskas Arena in Budapest. So let's move on. And the final country in Group D is Scotland. Scotland is the joint oldest national football team in the world, alongside England, who they played in the first ever they played in the first international football match in 1872. Scotland have qualified for the FIFA World Cup on 8 occasions and the UEFA European Championship on 3 occasions, but they have failed to progress beyond the first group stage of a finals tournament to date. The team, though, have achieved some notable results, such as beating the 1966 FIFA World Cup winners, England, at Wembley Stadium by 3-2 in 1967. And Archie Gemmill scored what has been described as one of the greatest goals ever scored in a World Cup finals tournament when he danced around the Dutch defence in the 1978 World Cup against the Dutch, who went on to reach the final of the tournament. In their qualifying group for the UEFA Euro 2008 tournament, Scotland defeated 2006 World Cup winners France 1-0 in both home and away. So let's see how they managed to qualify for Euro 2020. So they were in qualifying group I with Belgium, Russia, Cyprus, Kazakhstan and San Marino. And in their qualifying matches, they beat Belgium they lost 4-0 at home to Belgium and 3-0 away to Belgium. They lost 2-1 at home to Russia and 4-0 away. They defeated Cyprus 2-1 at home and 2-1 away. They defeated Kazakhstan 3-1 at home but lost 3-0 away. And then they defeated San Marino 6-0 at home and 2-0 away. This result, coupled with their UEFA Euro Nations League results, meant that they entered into a Euro 2020 qualifying playoff tournament. And in that tournament, in the semi-final, they drew 0-0 with Israel, but progressed to the final by virtue of the 5-3 penalty shootout victory. And then in the final against Serbia, they drew 1-1 and beat the Serbs 5-4 on penalties. They were leading for the vast majority of that game by 1-0, and then the Serbs scored in the last minute to take it to a penalty shootout. So their combined record in FIFA World Cup finals and European Championship finals shows that they played 29 games, won 6, drawn 8, lost 15, scored 29 goals and conceded 46 and managed to get 26 points. And historically, this means that Scotland are the 19th best team in the 24 that have qualified for the Euros this summer. And their combined record Yeah, so we looked at that. Now, their UEFA ranking is 27th and their FIFA ranking is 44th. Now, let's look at their current form leading up to this tournament. Now, they drew 2-2 with Austria, drew 1-1 with Israel, defeated the Faroe Islands 4-0, drew 2-2 with Holland and defeated Luxembourg by 1-0. Now let's have a look at their coach and some of their key players. So the coach is Steve Clarke, who was once assistant manager to Jose Mourinho at Chelsea, and he's had a very good management career in his own right. Not something that all assistant managers are able to do. Isn't that right, Mikel Arteta? Anyway, so in May 2019, Steve Clarke was appointed manager of the Scotland national team on a contract due to run until the end of the 2022 FIFA World Cup qualification programme. And on his debut on the 8th of June, the Scots won 2-1 at home to Cyprus in a UEFA Euro 2020 qualifying game. The team then suffered 4 consecutive defeats against Belgium and Russia, which included 2 heavy 4-0 defeats. This ended any hope of qualifying automatically for Euro 2020. Then on the 12th of November 2020, Scotland defeated Serbia 5-4 on penalties after a 1-1 draw to take their place in the delayed finals via the UEFA Nations League route. His record as Scotland manager so far is that he's played 21, won 9, drew 6 and lost 6 with a win percentage of 42.9%. So players to watch in this summer's tournament for Scotland are firstly John McGinn, who plays his club football with Aston Villa in the English Premier League. McGinn made his international debut in March 2006 in a friendly against Denmark. He played the entire match and was awarded the Man of the Match award. He has gone on to make 32 appearances for Scotland and has scored 10 goals. David Turnbull, he plays his club football in Scotland for Celtic as a midfielder, and he made his full debut for the Scotland national team in the recent friendly match with the Netherlands, which ended in a 2-2 draw. And then finally, no surprises, you probably say, me picking out Kieran Tierney. He started his playing career with his boyhood club Celtic before moving to Arsenal, and he plays as a left back, a left wing back or a centre back. He made his international debut for the Scottish senior team in a friendly against Denmark in March 2006, a game which Scotland won by 1-0. He has great flexibility and adaptability, and this was seen when he was deployed at right back in Scotland's matches against Slovenia, Lithuania and Slovakia, and on the left of the 3-man defence in the fixture at home to England during World Cup qualifiers in 2017. So let's have a look at their qualifying games for Group D. So they start their campaign off with a game against the Czech Republic on the 14th of June at Hampden Park. They then play England on the 18th of June at Wembley Stadium, and then they finish on the 22nd of June against Croatia again at Hampden Park. So if Scotland managed to qualify out of their group, their potential next opponents, if they qualify as group winners, will be the second place team in Group F at Wembley Stadium. If they finish second in Group D, they will face the country that finishes second in Group E in Copenhagen at the Parken Stadium. And if they finish third in their qualifying group, they can face either the winners of either Group B, Group C, or Group E, depending on their record when finishing third in their qualifying group, compared with the other countries who finished third in their qualifying groups. And those games could be played at Bilbao's San Mamés Stadium, Hampden Park in Glasgow, or the Puskás Arena in Budapest. So that's it. That's the end of the Scotland story, and it also completes my Group D preview. I hope you enjoyed that and found it interesting. Okay, everyone. Unfortunately, that's the end of the episode for today. I hope you enjoyed finding out about all these teams. I think it's going to be a really fiercely contested group. Yeah, so it should be quite an interesting one, really. It's going to be quite difficult for all of them, I think, because all four of the countries, I think they're quite good sides. So let's see what happens. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, please put a like on the video. Please make sure that you subscribe by pressing that little red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner. I think it is. Is it the left-hand corner? Yeah, maybe. Anyway, it's on the bottom corner of one side or the other. Anyway, yeah, so if you can do that for me, that would be fantastic. And also make sure that you pass it around to anyone you think might be interested in it. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, so I hope you're all okay and you're doing well. And please remember to share some love, kindness and happiness around the world. And make sure that you look after each other and talk to each other. Anyway, so like I say, that's it for today. Tomorrow I'm going to come back and do a preview of Group E for you, which I hope you'll find interesting and enjoyable. Yeah, so until then, take care and I'll see you soon. Remember, keep talking, everyone. Bye for now. Bye.